Hi, everybody, and welcome to this op5 webinar at the doorstep of op5 Monitor. My name is Danielle, and I'll be moderating this webinar today, so a very warm welcome to all of our participants. Before we get started, let me just run through some things that are good to know. We have a chat available to all attendees, so feel free to ask questions or make comments at any time during the presentation. We'll have a short Q&A session at the end of the webinar, so we can tackle your questions then. The webinar is also being recorded, and the recording and presentation deck will be made public and sent out to you in just a few days, so keep an eye out for that. All right, let me introduce the host of this webinar, Mishu Pajor from our amazing technical services team. Welcome, Mishu. Great to have you here today.
Thank you.
Mishu will be guiding you through all the great features of op5 Monitor with a live system demo. So take it away, Mishu.
Thank you. So I hope everyone is hearing us. So the agenda for today is that we will show you what we can do in terms of server monitoring. I will be guiding you through the live demo, which is divided in various types of steps, and also a quick summary of what I talked about during the live demo, and also a quick next step for you regarding how you can proceed with op5 as a product if you would like to have more information. And also, we'll round off with a Q&A session. So if you have any questions regarding what I've showed you, then I'll be happy if you ask those. So to proceed, op5 as a company, primarily our focus is a software development company. We develop software, and op5 Monitor is one of the softwares we develop. We also founded in 2004, so just recently had our 10 years anniversary, which was great. Got to meet a lot of customers, always fun. Our main focus is server monitoring, with the focus on proactive IT management. In addition, it's easy and fast to implement op5 Monitor within your infrastructure. We're also very highly scalable, and it's quite a flexible solution that we have. So in terms of if you would like to integrate against various types of systems, such as ticketing system, for example, or CRM systems, and it's fully possible with op5. We also have professional support located in Gothenburg, which is also where our development team is sitting at. So we'll cut right straight to it then. I'll share my desktop with you. And hopefully you should be able to see my desktop now. So first of all, you'll be met by a login screen on op5 Monitor. You can see username, password, the typical login screen capabilities. We also have a logging method here, as you see. This has two options in the dropdown, one being default and one being registered. I'll explain this a bit also, what this is. Default one is the way we authenticate with op5 using local user accounts created in op5 Monitor, meaning you create a user, and with that user you can log in to op5. And we also have registered here. Registered means, in other words, that we can authenticate against your LDAP. So we've set up an authentication module here, which we have decided to call registered. And by choosing that, I can log in using my LDAP credentials. So in this case, we have a demo account here, and that is an account that resides within our AD. I'll proceed with login to the demo system. And in our demo system, you will be met by the tactical overview. So this is the primary view you will be working in op5 Monitor. You get a quick overview of your infrastructure that you monitor. On the left side here, you can see that we've created a visualization, basically, of our infrastructure, network infrastructure. So here we can see how our infrastructure is feeling, if everything's healthy, also the link traffic that goes. In the middle, you will see network health, a quick overview of how our hosts feeling, and also the services that resides on each host. And And further down, we have business services. That is something I will be covering for you, but basically to cover it quite fast is that we can monitor applications as a whole, meaning that if you have applications you deliver to your customers, then you can monitor all aspects of your application. And I will cover that in detail also for you. I saw a question there.
Which version are we running?
We're running version 7.1.4 in this demo example. So it's a 7 series. So if you have seen the 6 series, it's different because the menu and all the features are different, but the menu in the 6 series is that it's placed on the left side here. On the 7 series, we have moved up the menu to give more space for the tactical overview and all different views we have within the product. I will also scroll down and show you the list view here. Basically, the list view here gives you a quick glance of all the hosts that you monitor. And also on the right side here, you get a quick indication of how your services are feeling on these hosts. So here we can see we're monitoring 36 services, while 32 are okay, 1 is in warning state, and 1 being in critical state. The interesting part with the list views is that behind this, we can create our own list views, meaning that you can filter basically whatever you want to see and place that within this list view. So take, for example, if you work with network equipment or say storage, then you can filter out that information, only show storage or network equipment in this specific list view. You can also rename these widgets, as we call them. So these widgets are drag and drop. So you can drag and drop them and also rename them. So you can give them a name, for example, network equipment. And then you can filter out in this list view that you only would like to see network equipment. And that is done by clicking the configure button here. And then you can see you can build your own query. I will also show you that later on. Let's see, Jason. I see your question here. I will see if I can get that. Thank you for your question there, Jason. If you could just briefly explain what diagrams you mean here, I can answer your question correctly. Are you referring to the image on the top left corner? This one? Okay. This view, I will also cover that for you, but to briefly explain what it is, basically what we've done here is that we upload a background picture. So I'll just mark that. So you can see the background picture is the mobile device, client access, and further on. And on this background picture, we place out the objects that we monitor. So in this case, it's a host or a service. So you can see the green or red icons here. That are objects we actually monitor in op5. So it's quite easy to build your own views, and they're very dynamic. So in terms that if you like to visualize, say, all your sites based, or say offices based in the world, you can visualize that on a map view and place out all your offices. So you get a quick glance of is your office if they work or not. I will show you some more examples on that also. I will move on and show you also the host and services overview. So here is our host overview. We get a quick glance of all the hosts that we monitor in an environment. You can see the name of the server or device. You can also see the alias, meaning more of a description. You can also add your own icons if you please. Graphs. It's a quick indication of how the round trip times or ping. And also you can see the current status of the hosts in a status information, meaning here we're monitoring this host with ping, and also on the left side we can see the status. So everything is good here. It does not breach our thresholds at all. And on the right side again, we see a quick indication of how many services we monitor. This view, I saw a question there from Amar. This view is fully customized, so you can create your own view and filter out information here. So for example, we have a lot of customers that would like to add their own columns in this view. For example, the SLA for this device, or the contact person when something goes wrong, or the customer name if you're a big MSP, for example. You can quickly filter out that information, or mainly sorting out that information when you add your own columns. This view is also very filterable, meaning that you can filter out information, again, like network equipment. So I'll show an example here. Say, for example, I'd like to filter out all the access points. So here we have something starting with AP 01, 02, 03, 04. So I will build a filter to filter out everything that matches AP. That's something you can do on the top right corner. If you press that, you will see this host all again. You perhaps recognize that from the tactical overview, where I showed you the list view and named it network equipment. In this case, I will filter out everything named AP. So I'll basically create a filter here. And when I start creating this filter, you will see on the background here that the view will update as I write the rule set here. So in this case, I would like to filter on name. Not equals to. We'll go more advanced here. Instead, we'll show matching regular expressions case insensitive. And then we will say AP. And here you can see that it matches everything that has AP in the name. You can also, of course, use regular expressions starting with AP. Pretty much what we'd like to achieve here. So again, this can be a very advanced filter if you please. So you can say, give me a list of everything that is related to network equipment that I'm set as a contact person for and also has ongoing issues, if you'd like to go that advanced. And in this dropdown, you can see what you can filter on the host level. Pretty much everything. We expose all type of information here that you can filter on. So in this case, I built my own filter, so I'll save that filter. Here, I can choose a name, so I will say Wi-Fi access points, for example, and save that filter. This is a demo user, but if you have more privileges, you will get a global option, meaning that you can make this filter globally visible for other users in your organization. So you can build predefined filters for your storage team, network team, or VMware team, and then share these filters amongst your colleagues. But now I save this filter, and it's user-specific, so only I will see that filter. So I will just refresh real quick here. And in the menu, you will see Wi-Fi access points. Pretty neat. You can build your own views. If we move on, see, Dimitri, I saw your question there. Let me catch up on the questions here. So, Dimitri, you asked a question. Is there a view that could be used like Nagstaman? Could you be more specific there? I know what Nagstaman is, but how would you like to use the view?
In the meantime, maybe we can answer the other question.
Yeah, reading through Ben's question also, you mentioned filtering by customer. Are there views that break statuses per customer, or is it just a field? Do you mean the general status of a customer's environment, perhaps? Okay, got you. That's something we call with business service management, where you can build your own view of, you can basically group your own customers and all the devices or services or applications associated with the customer, and then set rule sets there that, so if something breaches underneath, it's a hierarchical view. If it breaches, then that status will get aggregated up. So you get a clear understanding of, okay, this customer has an ongoing issue, where does the issue reside? I will show you how that looks like then. And that's something you can also visualize in the list view also, if you please. We have another view for it too. Yes, Dimitri. We actually ship an op5 app, both for Android and iOS. It's called op5 Monitor in App Store or Play Store. Does that answer your question? Oh, for PC. At this stage, we don't have that type of application available. Nextamon will work also. If you would like to use that, you can connect or authenticate to op5 through Nextamon and get notifications. Perfect. I'll move on. So we also have business service management. This relates to your question, Ben. So basically here we have a group of services, applications, or even customers that we monitor. So I will take a very simple example here so you can relate. Here we have a web shop that we monitor, and our web shop, usually like a web shop, consists of multiple applications like a database cluster, if you please, or application layers such as Apache or Nginx. Web service and databases are mainly required, and also network connectivity. So here we've said that in order for a web shop to work, we need our switch up and running. We have a database layer, say a database cluster that consists of 3 database servers. And also we have application layer that consists of 2 application servers. On each one of these layers, we have a rule set defined. We say on this application layer that at least 2 needs to be okay in order for the application layer to be green. On database layer, we've said that 2 needs to be up and running in order for a database cluster to be okay. And here doesn't have any direct dependencies. If this goes down or alerts, it will automatically aggregate up. So if we watch it from the beginning, we can see, okay, we have a problem with our web shop. We expand it, then we can see, okay, it's red because the switch is down. We can also see we have warnings on database layer and an application layer, but it's not critical. It's probably still working as it should, since one is still up and running, but perhaps on database 1 and database 2, we're having quite of a high load. That's perhaps why it's alerting. And same on application layer. So you can identify the problem, might not be very critical, but you can fix your application server by being calm. And once you fix that, everything goes green again. In this case, we would only require to fix the switch in order for this to be in warning state. Marpal, I got to this view by going to monitor and then to business services. That's how I reached this view. And we have also seen a trend that many of our customers tend to visualize their applications, the hierarchy of their application with this view. So for example, like a MySQL cluster, they set up a MySQL cluster a group and then divide it by location. Here we have a cluster in Stockholm, for example, and then they set up 2 servers here. The interesting part with this view is that you can visualize each one of these layers, whether it's a very advanced grouping or hierarchy, like this, for example. You can visualize this in this view, per customer, per application, or whatever you please, or you can visualize this in a list view, in services that I showed you earlier. The technique behind this is that each one of these layers can be saved as a service, which you then can base your filters on when you search for them. You can name them based on your customer name, for example. And also you can always extract reports on each layer, which gives you a clear indication, for example, when you deliver SLA reports, does it work or does it not work? Because if a web shop, say the disk on a web shop server goes beyond 85%, is almost full, probably does not affect your web shop because the service is still up and running. Your customer can still purchase your products. And you would probably not want that to affect your SLA. So that's why you build a hierarchy of your application or infrastructure with BSM, Business Service Management. I will also show you how to visualize data. I have something called NAGVIS, which was the first view that you saw on the tactical overview, where you saw the network architecture, which was this picture. I will show you some other pictures here. For example, our offices in Kista, located in Stockholm. So here we have a overview of our office, and we've placed our printer, so you can see the toner levels tone black, tone cyan. You can also see if the invoice print is working as it should. We also placed our access points here, our Wi-Fi access points. We can see connected clients over time. There's plenty of things you can do with these views. I saw a question there.
It's like reporting.
I will get to reporting also after this one. So you can see how SLA reports looks like, and also we have something called availability reports. So I will cover that for you. And also going to business service management, here we visualize objects we have created in the business service management hierarchy. Typical management view, you come into the office and you see does it work or does not work. And of course it has drill-down capabilities. So you can click it and directly jump to the hierarchy and see where does the problem reside. And for inspiration, I will show you some other views also. Network connectivity between data centers. We can see the link traffic going. And depending on the traffic load, the colors change, the arrows colors change. And it's based on this legend. So you can put very flexible views if you like to visualize very technical data within your organization. And we've noticed a trend lately that many of our customers tend to want to visualize the data. So sometimes your organization wants to see how your infrastructure is feeling. Yes, you can, Simarpal. What you do is that when you create an Nagios view, you can go to your tactical view, and you can see we have network architecture here created. What we do here is that you basically go to configure, and you choose your Nagios map that you would like to show. For example, MSP business view, and it will show you that view. Simple as that. You can also create multiple views here if you please. So this is one for network architecture that I've named. You can also create a duplicate of this and visualize something else that you've created in Nagios. I'll move on to reporting. I will start off with availability reports. So with availability reports, you can basically extract a report on anything you monitor in op5 Monitor. Here you can decide is it a host group, is it a host, is it a service group, or a service. And again, if you want to generate a report on business services, you save them as services. That's where you will find them. In this case, I will generate a report based on a host group, and I will choose a host group called database. So all our database servers, which should be 2 MSS Gold servers, and also reporting period, we'll set, say, last 3 months. And reporting time period, meaning that would you like to only include data within working hours, outside working hours, or 24/7? For this demo purpose, I'll choose 24/7. You also have other options here, such as SLA calculation methods. You can also count scheduled downtime as uptime or actual downtime or uptime with difference. So for example, if you have maintenance in infrastructure, then you should plan maintenance, you should schedule maintenance in op5, because that will show correctly in the reports later on. So it's plan maintenance, schedule maintenance for it, and then it will show accordingly in the reports. And various type of options here also. I will include some pie charts. I will include a summary report. Top part alert producers, I'll show you what that is also, and some trend graphs to see if we have any recurring issues with this database cluster. You can also add a description, if you please, and then I'll just generate this report. Give it a moment and it will appear. Typical demo ghost. Okay, here we are. So what you see here is an availability report. You will see that it extracts the last 3 months of data, and we can see, again, we extract a report based on our host group called database, which consists of MS SQL servers. So we have a host called database and one host called MS SQL. Yes, Jason, of course. And in this report, you will see first the trend graphs. This is a perfect indication to see if you have any recurring issues with your services or device. And here we can see we've had some issues here. So you see the yellow bar here, and also the red bar. Gives you a quick indication and explains why it's been down, and also during what period. And here we see on our MS SQL server, we had a pretty long downtime. And here we can see the host was completely down. That's why you see the red bar here. So if you have a big infrastructure, you probably don't know if you have any dips, traffic dips in your infrastructure or with the network equipment. But with this report, you will see if you have any recurring issues to clearly indicate that. Scroll down, nice pie chart giving a good overview of up and down, how much has been up and down. And also included top alert producers. This report will show you what has been alerting a lot during this period. And here you can see it's a service on the host MS SQL, and the service called memory page per second. Apologize for that. That was my mistake. I'll generate the report real quick again. And again, on the host MS SQL, we have a service called memory page per second that has been alerting 347 times during the last 3 months. Imagine getting 347 mails. We usually say, go through this type of report, generate it on a weekly basis, go through top 5, which gives you a good indication of if you have any problems in your infrastructure. It could be a real problem related to application or hardware, or it could be a simple problem such as your thresholds are wrong defined. Probably too aggressive or too loose. It's for you to decide, but gives you a good estimate of what's going on in your environment. And you can always export your report as CSV, PDF. You can choose to save them, so you can schedule them by email to be sent to one receiver or two or multiple. And also you can share this report if you want. I'll round off with showing an SLA report. Pretty much the same interface when it comes to the configuration of the report. But on the bottom here you can see you can define a SLA. So in a perfect world perhaps 99.7, and then you would use that SLA for all months. So instead of defining them manually one by one, you can simply press OK, and it gets propagated out. I have saved a report since past, so I will generate a saved report. In this case, Google Apps. I choose that one, and I can see what I'm generating a report on. Pretty much the Google Apps stack. We use it internally, so we would like to monitor it also. And here we'll define SLA period. So we'll say 99.7, and we'll propagate that for all 3 months. And then we'll simply show report. And here you can see an SLA report of the Google Apps stack that we monitor. And here you can clearly see that during August wasn't at all good. September was okay, but still SLA breach, and also same in October. So they did not meet our SLA, which is sad. And here we can scroll down to see a breakdown really of each period. The SLA, what we would like to, what the value we specified was for each month, and also the real value that was delivered by Google Apps. So 78.37, which is exactly what it was during August. And if we scroll down, we can see what we extracted report on. So all these services. So we can see what we're being measured at. And in this report, you can always drill down. So you can press the bar and get to the availability report for this period. But before I do that, I just would like to highlight that, again, you can export as CSV, PDF, you can also save this report, and once you've saved it, you can schedule it to be sent by email. I will drill down, so press the October bar, and here you see the availability report without trend graphs, as I've not included them, but here you see a breakdown for each service, how they've been behaving. And here we can see, I think our key player of why our SLA was not met here was probably Google Talk. It had 7.28% critical, so it had some issues there during this period. Okay, perfect. So we'll round off now. Let's see. Stop the screen sharing. So, just a quick summary here, really. I show you the login screen. We covered the tactical overview. I show you the host and services overview. Also show you business services management, how you can group your services, applications, or even your customers if you want, and alert based on that. I also show you how to visualize your data with Nagivis, and also reporting and graph capabilities. So the next natural step, if you'd like to know more about op5, I would strongly recommend our knowledge base, which is located at khb.op5.com. We have a great set of information there, mainly around manuals, specifically how-tos. If you're curious of how to monitor, say, an Active Directory server or MS SQL server, go to our knowledge base. We have a lot of information regarding that. We also have information of management packs, so if you're unsure of how to monitor something, we've probably already created a management pack for you to do it. So you download it, specify your IP address to your MS SQL server, for example, and we'll automatically monitor all the things that we think you should see. And also you have various types of tips and tricks, and also a lot of other interesting spaces in a knowledge base to view. So I would love to get some questions. I got a lot of questions here. I'll see if I missed something here. Ahmed sent a question there for download and a version for Windows. Today we do not run op5 under the Windows platform, since it's based on the Linux platform, mainly CentOS and Red Hat. But what you can do is that you can virtualize op5 monitor within your Windows infrastructure, if you please. Any questions? I noticed a question at the top here that I missed, unfortunately, Jason. Sorry for that. How difficult or what is the procedural process to migrate from Nagios XI to op5? Well, luckily we are based on Nagios, so the process there is not at all long. What we usually do there is that we move out the configuration files from Nagios XI directly to op5 monitor, and usually everything is blends. Sure, there will probably be some tweaking regarding configuration paths or such, but it's mainly fine-tuning. Does that answer your question, Jason? Perfect. See, got some more questions there. Let's see. Amar, could you be more specific? Resilience. I'm quite unsure of what that means.
Resilience.
But meanwhile, CMRPAL, how would one go about writing script, for example, look at the interface in Juniper? I'll start off with CMRPAL. If you would like to monitor something on, say, for example, Juniper, which mainly speaks SNMP, then I would just write a script that basically polls it via SNMP. But to be honest there, I think, or I am very sure that this script already exists, so you should not need to write your own script there. Instead, we probably have something bundled in op5. If not, we probably can find a Nogio script for it. I'm very sure there exists one. Okay, Amar, so multiple servers, so if one op5 server goes down, another takes over. Great question. What we do there is that we have something called Merlin in op5. Merlin is an engine that enables us to run op5 in redundant and load balance solution. So basically, we have an extension to op5 called op5 peer. So this enables load balancing and redundancy. So you basically have two active nodes which talks to each other at all times and synchronizes data in real time. So if one were to go down, the other one is still active and takes over the load that the node had, which went down. We also have the capability to have distributed monitoring, meaning you can place out an op5 instance, which we call op5 poller, in a data center that you don't have any incoming connection availability to, but instead you have outgoing connection. So if you're limited that you cannot connect directly to the data center and speak to the nodes there, you can place op5 poller there, and it will monitor all the nodes in that data center and then report it back to the master instance. So you get a centralized view.
That's a really good question. I think it's a little bit more advanced than an introduction, but it's good to get that in there.
Any other questions?
We're running a little bit over time now, so let's just wrap this up. As our last step, if you do have any more questions that we maybe can't cover right now, it would be great if you could get in touch via our email, either info@op5.com, or if you want to get in touch with a technician to speak a little bit more techie, then inside-sales@op5.com is your best bet. We can set up one-on-one demos, or if you have any questions at all, we're more than happy to answer. We should have lots of time to do that. All right, thank you very much for today. Thank you, Mishu.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.